The StrengthsFinder's test has identified strategic as one of your strengths. Strategic allows you to sort through the clutter. You look at all kinds of things going on in life and you say, okay, now what is really going on here? You look at different avenues, at different directions, and you take a look at under one rock and you see, well, what happens if it's actually under another rock? What am I going to do? What happens if the road turns that way? How am I going to handle that? Am I going to turn this direction or that direction? Well, if I turn that direction, this is going to happen. If I turn that direction, that's going to happen. You're the kind of person who's listening to somebody talk, and while they're talking, you're figuring out what you're going to say that's going to give you the upper hand on the other end of the conversation, so that sometimes you don't even really listen very well to what it is somebody is saying. You just pick up key phrases and make a decision about what you're going to say, which is not a good habit to get in, by the way. It's something that you need to fight with and fight to stay on track and listen carefully, so that when you're heard, you understand the other opposing point of view well. This whole idea, or this whole strength of strategic, is not something you can be taught. It's not something that you can teach other people how to do. It's something that's genetically in you from birth, as all the strengths are, but this one specifically cannot be taught. You can learn how to have better learning skills, but strategic is something that's built into people's minds and brains genetically. It's a special way of perceiving the world at large. You have a different way of looking at things than other people do. You see it from a strategic perspective. You play alternative scenarios in your mind, constantly asking, what if this happened? Well, okay, if that happens, then what if that happened? You help other people to see and yourself to see what's around the next corner. You discard the paths that lead nowhere. You discard the paths that lead straight into resistance, and you discard the paths that lead to a fog of confusion. So you have the ability to be able to vet things out fairly well and to understand the right direction, right course of actions. You call and make selections until you arrive at a chosen path, the way you want to go and how you want to handle something. And you have a knack for doing it, something that comes easy to you. Armed with your strategy, you strike forward, you forge your way, you go through and say, what if this happens? Now you determine, you strike. You like to use what you've come up with to actually see it work. It's an excitement thing going on there. I have strategic and I love it, because as people are going through things, I look and say, okay, what's the best strategy to handle this? Well, if we do this and this, and I can come to it while everybody's working on it, I can help build consensus using it. And it's very helpful that way, because when people are undecided and they're working through things, that I use strategic, this whole strategic gift or strength is really nice, because it helps me to come up with an idea and how to build a consensus in an area in my own mind, so that I can help other people build a consensus. Take time to fully reflect or muse about a goal that you might want to achieve until the related patterns start to develop in your mind, so that you start seeing the issues. So if you've got something you want to accomplish, use the strategic theme, use this strength of yours to be able to assist you to meet your goals. Think about it in depth. Go through the whole strategic process. Think about what will happen in every scenario and write this stuff down. Make it a habit of yours to make sure that you're identifying all the different avenues and directions that could go in this area. I've got an acquaintance who has this theme of strategic as his number one. It happens to be my number 4, but it's his number 1. And the way it works itself out for him is kind of interesting. You can sit in a conversation with this young man, and he's thinking about everything he wants to say before you've ever said it. And we've talked about how that can be unproductive, because you do want to take other pieces of information in and correlate them in your mind and put them into the strategic plan. But it's interesting to watch how people, especially when they haven't allowed this to develop well, how they operate. It gives you good insights into how this whole strength works. You can also see clearly repercussions that in others' lives based upon the things they're doing. You kind of follow the past in your mind. You can say, well, if you do this, this is going to happen. If you do that, that's going to happen. And so you can be good in helping people in counsel, and take advantage of this ability by planning your range of responses in detail. So when you're thinking about something that's going on in somebody's life and you want to talk to them about it, think in detail about what the repercussions are, so that you can help them with that. And you'll be a good counselor in that context. Okay, some action items. Talk with others about the alternative directions you see. When you're discussing an issue and somebody says, look, we're going to go on this trip, and we're going to go and go on up to a national park, for instance. Well, you might say, hey, look, if on your way, if you'll do this, you'll save a lot of time. In other words, you might say to them, look, don't leave in this particular time, because if you do, you're going to hit traffic bad there. Help them with it. Think through the scenarios yourself, and you can be very helpful in that. Trust your intuitive insights as often as possible. The strategic theme comes with great intuitive insights into things, and you'll be able to help people understand and realize exactly what's going to happen to them along the way, or at least get close using your intuition. When the time comes, seize a moment and state your strategy with confidence. In other words, you don't want to go into a discussion with somebody and know these things are going on without having thought it through well enough to be able to go in and say, okay, here's what I believe, here's why, here's what's going to happen if we do this, here's what's going to happen if we do that. If you'll do that, you'll find that people will start trusting this whole strategic theme of yours more and more as time goes along. And so learn to see what you see, to tell people about, and learn to understand what you see down the road and how to articulate it to others. It'll be very, very strong for you, or bring a lot of strength to your relationships. Partner with somebody with a strong activator theme. With this person's need for action and your need for anticipation, you'll have a powerful partnership there. Because these activator people are the people that won't let you sit still and just think about it. They're going to say, look, you've thought this through well, let us act on it. Strike, go for it. So that's strategic. Strategic is a lot of fun. You'll find that this will be very useful. I would encourage you to study the reports that you've received from the StrengthsFinder Gallup group, and go back and read the descriptions in the book. If you haven't ordered the book, you can get a copy of it from us as part of your process that you purchased. Purchase it. All you have to do is pay for the shipping. Just purchase it and take a look at it. I think you'll enjoy it.